Nanu Nanu, welcome to the Nerd Theorists. My name's Gaz and today we are looking at the Kings of War, so-called Big Red Book. Now, firstly, I should point out that Mantic have said this isn't a new edition. It is, but it isn't. Now they've said it's not a new edition. They have said that basically this is a concise culmination of all the information since the first or the last book came out. I think it's been about 3 years, which is that one. And I have done a video review of this and I was bigging it up and saying how amazing it was and wow, it's brilliant. Then they brought this out and they have said that this is the core rules from that book and all the extra gubbins. Now we have Clash of Kings, the new information from that, Halpi's Rift, the Uncharted Empires, all of that is in here with the core rules. What's not in here is the lore. So I don't know whether that's why they're saying this isn't a new edition, but they're calling it the Big Red Book. And I know people have called it the Big Red Book, but even Mantic on their own website have called it the Big Red Book. That's the original book. That is 399 pages long. This is 288 pages long. It's more than 100 pages less. Not a big red book, is it? It's a small red book. It's lacking. It has to be said, it is lacking. The first 20 pages of this book are exactly the same as the first book, and the pictures and everything. I mean, they haven't even bothered to take new photos of two people playing the game. It's exactly the same. The lore, as I say, is completely missing. There was about 150 pages of lore in the first book. There's none of it. No lore at all. There was a concise chunk. Oh, I punched my microphone on that noise. There was a concise chunk of information on the world in the original book and individual sections of lore on each of the factions. Now, there's none of that in this book. I have read online that Mantic are producing a source book with all of the lore in it for free. I can't find it. It's not on there. Now, if they're going to bring it out, that's fair enough, but why isn't it out already? Why bring this out when the lore is already available in the Green Book? You've got the lore's written, just bang it on the website. If you're going to say it's free, that's why we're not putting it in here. But why not put it in here? Why say this isn't a new edition? Why not just say it is a new edition and here's the lore? It's over 100 pages shorter. You could put the 150 pages of lore in it. We've paid the same. It's 30 quid. That was 30 quid. We're paying the same amount of money for these two books, but we're getting 100 pages less. Now, yes, there are rule updates. There are rule updates, but we knew that was coming because the rule updates have happened. There have been lots of little changes, like I say, all these other little appendixes that have been out. And I made a big deal of saying in the original review for the original core book that it was brilliant because I was used to Warhammer, sorry, not Warcraft. I'm used to Warcraft as well. I'm used to Warhammer, so you get the core book, and then you get your codex, and then you get your codex supplements, and you spend a lot of money on books. And I was saying, isn't it nice? You've got one book with everything in it, and they've tried to make out that that's what this is again. It's the one book with everything in it. It's not. There are no pictures. Now this has really got my back up. In the original book, you've got the army lists at the back. And after every army list, you've got the gallery. So there's the Orc army list and then the Orc gallery, the Undead army list, the Undead gallery, the Night Stalkers, everything. Every single faction has got a 2-page spread of all of the models. Nothing. Every single army list, no pictures of the models, none of them. None. The only pictures and models in this book are at the beginning, and they're the same pictures from the original book. So all these lovely new models that Mantic are producing for Kings of War aren't in this book. There are no images of any new models at all. The only images of models in there are the old images from the old book, and very few of them. There's hardly any images. Now, Games Workshop make a big deal when in every codex, in every core book, they say, oh, there's lots of different ways to play. You might just be a collector. And, alright, I do play the games, but I buy a lot of models that I never play with. I buy an awful lot of models that I see and I think that's mint, I'm buying that. And it's not for an army that I own, I just want to paint it, I just like it. Also, you look in these books and you think, oh, that's an amazing model, I'm going to have to go and buy that. Well, no, you're not, because you don't know what they bloody look like. Where's the, this feels rushed. This feels like they've just banged a book out because people are saying, oh, well, you've got all these books and you have to take them. No, so what? We've been playing Warhammer for decades and taking fucking 6 or 7 books with us to every game. People are used to it. Don't rush out a book, make out it's a big red book all in one when so much stuff is missing. No lore is a criminal offence, but no photos of the models. Come on, Mantic. What is that all about? There are the only new rules as well. There's a few little tweaks when it comes to, and don't get me wrong, it's a fantastic game. The game itself is fantastic. It's very tactical. You can have huge armies, huge armies, and still get the game done in a couple of hours, which is good and bad, because sometimes I like a mental game that goes on for hours and hours and hours, or days, as some of my Warhammer games have done. There are new rules for ambush mode, which is a new scenario mode. That's the only thing I can see, apart from a few little bits and tweaks. There are new armies. There are the Kingdom of Men, the Ratkin and the Salamanders. There are then what they've called theme lists. Now again, this has been a little bit here's a little bit of information, but not enough. Within the rules of the army lists, there's a master army lists, which are the races that we're used to, plus a few new ones. But then there are theme lists. So within those army lists, there's another subsection. So there's the Dwarves of the Abyss. They now have a theme list of Ratkin slaves. So there are Ratkin slaves that you can use in your Dwarven army. There's the Herd, which is the army of nature, or whatever it is. The Sylvankin, which is an elven subsection. So these are new models. They're not new armies, but they're new creatures within armies. And there's a little bit of information within the book that says basically they're not their own armies, they're just extra units for the existing armies. The information isn't in this book, but don't worry, there'll be a supplement coming out soon. What's the fucking point of saying this is a big red book and all the information is in it, and then saying, but you're going to have to get a supplement if you want to play these figures? Are you going to want to play them? Well, I don't know what they look like, because you haven't put any bloody photos in. Kingdom of Men, Ratkin, Salamanders, Ratkin Slaves, Orders of the Brother Mark, Sylvan King, The Herd. All new, no photos. There's new models, and I know there's new ogre models because I've got an ogre army, and I've seen the photos. They're out because they're on their website. They sent me an email with them in. Why aren't they in the bloody book? I want to know what these models look like. I want to be excited about them. A few weeks ago, I got the Cadia Stands box set army. Now, within that box set were all new design models. They were the same units, but new design. Absolutely beautiful, beautiful. And the reason I bought that is I've never owned any of the of that army, the Astra Militum. I don't own any of them, but I saw those photos online. I thought, them in, I'm going to buy them. So it's just looking at the pictures online that made me want to buy them. Mantic are missing a trick here because nobody can see them. Now, the good thing about that box set was you got the new codex, and within the new codex were the new rules for all the new models that are coming out. Now, it's a complete overhaul of the Astra Militum. All the old models that are on the website are now saying no longer in stock. They're clearly going to redo all of the models, and there's new models coming out. They have photos of those new models in the book. Now, those models have got no release date. They're not going to be out for ages, but it gets people excited. And this is a massive, massive error in judgment. Putting out a book with no images in of the models. I can't stress this enough, how annoyed I am. It's so barren. I mean, you look... I've got here... This is the Age of Sigmar. This is the limited edition Age of Sigmar core book. It's only the cover that's different. The inside's the same. But you look at every little page. Every page. All these details. All these little nuances. So many photos of the armies. so many images, concept art, battles in, you know, laid out on a table. So much to get you excited when you're just a model builder and you're not bothered about fighting. If you just want to click the models, loads of it. The Kings of War original book, loads of big pictures, and all the, I mean, not as much as a Games Workshop book, admittedly, but still a lot of images for models. I've hit my microphone again. I'll just flick through this on the camera so you can see how barren it is for photos. There we go. So there's the beginning, there's the odd few pictures. They're the ones from the old book. But that's it. Look, it's nearly all black and white. There's no zing, there's no pizzazz. It's disappointing. So that's it, really. It's been a massive rant. So this was supposed to be a happy review. You'll see if you go back and watch the other one, the green book, the original core book, I was banging on about how amazing it is, and I am massively let down by this from day one as well, because I wanted it when it first came out, and my local supplier, Roll It, are bang on the money for getting stuff to me as quick as possible, and Mantic fannied about sending them out the book. So by the time they actually sent it, and Roll It phoned me the second it arrived and I went down there and picked it up, it had been on the market for 2 weeks before they even got it out to their suppliers. Now I appreciate that they want people to order it from them directly because they make extra money, but a couple of days at most. 2 weeks, man. 2 weeks to keep your suppliers waiting. And it's not as if it's, you know, a world-renowned game like Games Workshop, Warhammer 40k. You need to keep hold of these people because Roll It really push it, and they, you know, they make a big deal of it in their gaming days, and they're really pushing the Mantic stuff. And I just feel like Mantic are shitting on them slightly, and shitting on us, the fans, because, I mean, I've made notes here, but the only notes on here that say anything about, ooh, look, it's new, a couple of pamphlet size appendixes that they've added into this, a couple of new armies, but no photos, nothing to be excited about. They haven't really explained how the theme list works. It's just a massive letdown. And I'm sorry, Mantic, because I do love the game, but I just think there wasn't any point in releasing this book. You may as well, if you didn't want to release a new edition yet, then just don't do anything. Just wait. Take photos of your new models, get some people to paint them, bring out a new book with everything in it, because this is a letdown. I'm very sorry. Big red book, big red bollocks.